My name is Tanya Bilisoly, and I grew up here in Austin. I'm a real estate agent full-time, and I've been doing that for about 17 years. My daughter is Addison, she's 9, and my son is Aiden, and he is almost 11. I'm everybody. I can relate with everybody because I've been through so many different things in my life. On the professional level, as a mom, as a sister, as a daughter, as an entrepreneur. 2010. That was probably the worst year of my entire life. I had just gotten divorced that year, and my babies were 1 and 3 years old. I had been a stay-at-home mother until the divorce happened, and I started looking for a job, but the housing crisis had just happened. So the economy was in the toilet, the housing market was in the toilet, and it wasn't a time for me to jump back into real estate and do that full time. And it was the first time in my life that I had a really hard time getting employed. It took me about 4 months to finally find a job, and I ended up at a TV station. It sounds really fancy, but it didn't pay anything really at all. I was an account executive, but I was only allowed to call on small mom and pop shops because all of the senior AEs had all the big national accounts, and so they were set and I couldn't touch them. So I was knocking on doors of people who did not have a budget of $5,000 a month in Austin, Texas. And it's really kind of what you need to spend in order to generate and make the phone ring and make it make sense. So I got told no a lot. I made $25,000 that year, working full time. I applied for food stamps. They told me no, I'd made too much money for food stamps, and suggested maybe I quit my job and come back and reapply. I ended up living in someone's dining room because it was literally either that or nowhere. I was talking to a guy that I didn't even know, getting coffee at the TV station, and I don't know, for some reason I shared that I didn't know where I was going to go, and he said, well, let me talk to my girlfriend about it. They live together, and see if we have room for you at our house. And the next day he came back and said, we don't have any bedrooms, but you can live in our dining room, our formal dining room. You can live there with your kids. And I said, okay, because I really had I was going to be on the streets. I had a queen size bed in there. I had my daughter's crib, which was maybe 6 inches away from my bed. It was very tight. And a dresser and her diaper genie, because she's still in diapers. So I had the diaper genie in there, the dresser, the bed, the crib. Aiden would sleep with me in the bed. She would sleep in the crib. But there was other people in the house. And we were right there by the front door and the kitchen. So there was always activity and noise going on. But every night that I would lay there, it's just like, how the hell did I get here? How is this my story? Every single day, I feel like everything is stacked against me and that I am an absolute failure in every possible way. I don't even feel like a good mom because I can't even provide the basics for us. Safety and security on my own in a, house or an apartment. Doesn't even matter at that point. Someplace that's just my own with our own stuff and not other people around that you really don't even know. It's not the ideal situation. It's certainly not where I saw myself in that stage of my life. I felt like I had nothing to offer anyone, and like I can't take care of anything. And not that I'm not trying to. I'm absolutely trying to. I'm not lazy. I am working full time, but it's just I can't get it to be what it's supposed to be. I just felt like a failure, and quite honestly, I was suicidal. I remember one day going to Mount Bunnell by myself and sitting on that rock and staring out across. There was all these, hills, and there's the lake and then all the hills and stuff, and there's people's homes all through there, very nice homes. And you can see downtown Austin if you look to the left. And then you can see the Pennybacker Bridge if you look to the right. And across the way, you can see these tall, like radio or cell phone towers. I had already been thinking about removing myself from this planet because I just felt like I was a failure all the way around, and I didn't have anything to offer, and I was just a burden, and I was just miserable and tired of suffering and tired of hurting. I was looking across the way and saw those cell phone towers and thought that if one were to jump from the very top, 100% you would not survive that. I would definitely not screw that up. So I thought, okay, that's how I'll do it. How did I get out of that? My damn friend, Stephanie. I called her up and I told her about my plan. And she was very angry at me. And she told me a story in order to explain to me why I could not do this to her. She had been a 911 operator, and she took a call on one of her shifts, and it was someone that she knew, and they were crying because someone had just shot themselves. And it was someone that she knew was a friend of hers, and she took that call. And she explained to me what that had done to her and how much it hurt her, and that if I did that to myself, that I would hurt her that same way. And so she told me I could not do that. And that is the only reason why I did not do that. And I was mad at her. So I was like, well, damn it. Like I figured this out. I was going to get out of this misery and stop the hurting, which is all people that commit suicide want to do. They don't want to die. They just want to stop hurting. And I had figured out a way to stop that hurting. And now, because it was going to hurt her, I couldn't do it. So I was a little pissed off that she had foiled my plans, and I was going to have to continue to suffer anyway, because I couldn't live with myself if I caused her that kind of pain. And yes, and people will ask me, well, what about your children? I get that. They were very young at the time, and I know that they would hurt. I'm not saying that they wouldn't hurt, but at the time I just felt like I couldn't even be a mom to them. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do for them and with them because of the situation that I was in, and I had been trying to get myself out of it, and I couldn't. And so I just, in that moment, right or wrong, I just felt like I didn't have much to offer, including my children. I just didn't feel like the mom that I wanted to be for them. It wasn't great, but it was a salary position, and I was making $32,000 a year instead of $25,000. So it's a little bit better. I got my own place. I rented a house in Leander for $900 a month. It was a little house, and it's like 900 square feet, 3-bedroom with a 1-car garage and a huge backyard, but it was on a busy street. But it's okay. I'm just barely treading water, but I'm treading water. So I'm starting to feel better about myself and have hope again. Hope is very important. And that's at the point where I decided to change the shell that I was in. One of the girls that I had been working with at the TV station had been doing competitions, fitness competitions, and I asked her what she had been doing, and she said weightlifting. And then I also had to change what I was eating in the kitchen too, because that's a major part of it. So I had to basically get rid of everything and start a new relationship with my food. I was competing against 18 plus and also masters. It was really cool to be 38 years old and have had 2 children and standing next to an 18-year-old who had not had children and look as good or better than she did. That was kind of cool. That was a very, very cool feeling, personal satisfaction, personal accomplishment. There was one day that I remember looking in the mirror and crying because it's like I realized what I had just done. And I had been getting there, and it's a pound here and a pound there, so it's very slow going, and you feel like you're not really doing anything for a while, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, like I'm somebody else. Like I remember kneeling on the floor, sitting on the floor or something, and I realized that my stomach wasn't sitting on my lap anymore. That was kind of cool. The fitness thing was more about putting myself back together, but in a different type of way. And it's something new that I had never tried before, and that made me a stronger person, because every time I went into the gym and I did something that I wasn't able to do before, I felt like, okay, I did that. Now what can I do? And I kept raising the bar on myself and kept pushing myself. Okay, now what can I do? I couldn't do that before. Oh, I'm going to try this. And then I would do that, and then I would raise the bar again. And whether that meant in the gym or in life with career or housing or whatever, I'm always constantly trying to improve myself on every level, and that will never stop. That fitness experience, I think, is what really fueled my inner dragon, if you will. She breathes fire, and really brought her to life, because she was in there sleeping and now she's wide awake. So